Hey guys, welcome back to Ultimate S&S. So today we're going to be discussing a little bit about some of the uncertainties of life and things like that and how we can try to prepare them, but really kind of focusing on how we should be trying to train our children and things up in a way where they are going to have a mentality of self-preparation as they grow up. Because understand that we have seen food supplies, we have seen housing market crashes and things like that in our past. Now, each time it comes around, it seems to get worse. But what we don't seem to be doing is training our children in ways that when they get older and they're trying to get their homes and stuff, that they're going to be, programmed up to the point where, we need to make sure we keep food back. And instill that into their children. See, over the years, it's just come that money came easy, and that people just throw money around, and then something happens, and money is not the answer at that point. It's going to be knowledge and living the way that our forefathers lived in this country. So, on this program here, I like to occasionally do some little advertisement stuff and stuff, things that I like to keep in my kits. So here's one from Bigfoot Bushcraft. If you're looking for a great way to be able to make a fire, maybe you're an avid camper, maybe you just want something to put in your bug out bag. I want you to check this stuff out, guys.
Fire, one of man's most primitive skills, has now been given an upgrade with modern technology.
So I keep that in my bug out bag. I have several different fire starters and things like that, different type of combos. That is more or less my, if it's soaked, raining, messy, I use them fire plugs, man. It's never let me down, but I would recommend at least having a few of those or something similar to it, guys. Because if you get a situation where it's raining or you fell in a river or something like that, if you're out on a hike, anything can happen. It's good to have a source that's going to be waterproof for one, but it's going to guarantee you a fire. So, anyway, now that we've ran out of that, I hope everyone's having a great day. One of the things I have noticed around the world right now is kids have their phones up in front of their face. They're not tuned into the real world. They're not out helping in the gardens. They're not, I don't know that there's even many people that hang their laundry out to dry anymore. Everyone just like, well, I've got a dryer. I'm not doing that. Well, the fact is you don't need those dryers and things like that. Yes, they make life easier, but I can remember growing up as a kid and there'd be laundry hanging up on clotheslines in the sun. The kids are out playing around, and that was life for me growing up. Today, it's that kids don't even help fold their own clothing, let alone help fold, sheets and towels and stuff like that. We're raising a generation of, I'm sorry, but we're raising a generation of people who are not going to know what the heck to do to survive. They are completely subservient to someone telling them what to do. Teach your children to think for themselves. Teach your children to not just run with the narrative that they're taught in schools, and give them options. Show them truth. If you're not doing that, understand the country is only going to be as successful as the next generation that comes in. And if you're raising a batch of, tater tots, unfortunately, the country will be doomed. There's plenty of people doing that. So take time to spend with your kids and things like that. But most importantly, instill in them the survival techniques that they're going to need to survive. And we're talking basic camping and stuff like that as well. I've actually met people that have never been camping. And I honestly, I thought that was like just the weirdest thing in the world. Is like they had never been camping. I'm talking never been to a campsite, never been in an RV for that matter. We always did tent camping. Actually, when we were younger, we used the jungle hammocks and just hung them up some trees out in the distance, and that's where we camped at. And we wanted to be kind of near where we were fishing the next day. So when we got up, we were the first ones out fishing and things like that. That's how my brother and I did it growing up. That's not the case with most kids. Most kids don't even know how to use a fishing pole today because the parents aren't taking the time. Now, I'm not trying to hammer on parents, but I am in a way, because the fact is, to raise your kids, for your kids to be into things that are going to help them, whether it be fishing or hunting or scavenging for food, foraging, things like that and stuff, we're not teaching them today. Most families are so busy with their jobs that they're not instilling actual things that will help their children. So I just think it's a sad state that we're living in the world today. We all can see the fertilizer crisis being reported on the news. Now, I understand a lot of that those harvests that would be going in, they will be coming out this fall, and they're not going to be coming out because we don't have the fertilizer for it. They're saying the food shortages. Now, understand when I say they, I'm talking about analysts, the people who actually know, and they're coming out and they're telling you, this is what we're seeing. This is where we're going to be at. It's going to be bad. You need to start making sure that you have at least 6 months of food now, but more would be better. That's what they're saying right now. Now, on your mainstream medias, they're coming out, well, there's really no evidence that it could be that bad here in America. Now, understand, it's not analysts saying that on CNBC and MSNBC or any of those places. What it is reporters. Well, reporters report what they're told. By whom? Well, we know now that they are told what to say by the corporations, by the media corporation. Who is controlled by whom? The government. You're not going to get real news, but on one leg, the government's telling you make sure you're prepared, and on the next leg, they're telling the people, no, don't do it. Why? Because they know they want to get the population down. That's what most of this is about, is driving the population down. They don't care about us. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about your children. They didn't care about my children. So that is the way that life is. So what can you do? Well, as the parent, it is your responsibility to make sure that your children are raised in such a way that they can withstand and survive. If you're not doing that, then you're failing as a parent, guys. Sorry. It's great to have houses over their heads and things like that, but when it comes right down to it, if something happens to you, are they going to be able to survive, or are they going to have to worry and go and live off the government? You don't want your children to be having to live off the government in the times that are ahead. You want them to be able to go out and find their own food, grow their own food, go out and fish, whatever it is, camp, how to, stay unseen and things like that. Are you teaching your children that? Chances are, no. For those that are, and I know there's a few on here that do, great job. Keep it up, guys. But I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. This isn't going to be a very long video. I just want to take a moment to kind of touch base on that. But understand, get your food now. Keep stockpiling supplies. Now, when I'm talking about supplies, yes, food. We're going to have empty shelves here pretty soon. So yes, be getting the food now that you can. But I'm also talking about long-term survival gear that you're going to need. We're talking trout lines, fishing lines, and things like that. You can go buy a nice fishing pole. Honestly, most of the time we grew up, we just had pan lines wrapped around a stick, and you can do it that way. We always had success with that. But understand, you need to be teaching them real world applications, how to start fires and things like that. Now, you have to be mindful of the younger ones. You don't want to be teaching someone who's a pyromaniac how to make fires. Obviously, you know your children better than I do, but they need to know what to do. They need to know it. So many parents are like, oh, I can't teach my kids how to make a fire because then they'll burn the house down. Well, no, that's not it. You need to teach your children to be responsible enough to learn how to do a fire under supervision. That way, they're always there, and you get out and supervise them, because if every time they want to go out and practice the skill set and you say, no, I'm too busy, and you're just sitting there eating bonbons, watching Oprah or whatever it is you watch, they're eventually going to say, you know what, screw it, we're just going to do it ourselves. And now they don't have supervision. It is our job as parents to supervise our children. It's our job as parents to raise them up in a way that is a moral, godly way. It is not the school corporation's job. I don't understand. We send them to a public school, which are full of all kinds of pedophiles and messed up people. Not saying all teachers are that way, but there's a lot of them that are that way now. And we're just throwing our kids out there to the woods. Go learn something. I can't be bothered. That's the way the world is today. How many of you actually help your children with homework? Now, I'm sure in everyone's mind they're a perfect parent. But the fact is, none of us are perfect parents. There's no such thing as a perfect parent because we're all doing it for the first time, guys. But you need to focus on your children now. You need to make sure that you're giving them a lifestyle where they are being set up for success in the world that's coming. Understand, the days of corporate America, capitalism, the big businesses and stuff like that, those are almost over. When that falls, are you and your children going to be able to survive? Chances are most of the ones that sit there say, oh yeah, we'll be fine, we'll be fine, they'll be lined up inside their FEMA camps getting their chips and things like that, and turning over people who they know that are, well, meet us here. Instead of meeting, they're going to go just turn them in for a free food or whatever, guys. That is where it's coming to. And understand too, if you don't instill morals and what is right and what is wrong in your children, the ones that are turning you in is going to be just like it was in Nazi Germany. It'll be children turning their parents in. So take time with your children, make sure they understand what is fixing to happen in not just this country, but around the world. Because if you don't, you're going to find out they're no longer your children. They are programmed by people you don't even like. Everyone have a wonderful day.